It has been said that many have been plagued by ancient demonic forces. From Mesopotamia to more modern times, these evil and terrifying entities are said to enter our world and wreak havoc upon those who dwell within it. These are the Demonology archives. My name is Cody, and for years I have studied and investigated the paranormal, and part of my fascination, and many others, is the existence of demons. This new mini-series aims to explore the origins, symbols, and stories surrounding particular demons, just where they are said to come from, what they are, and who they are. So if demonology fascinates you, I urge you to watch until the end, because you may just learn something that you didn't know before. Real quick, I wanted to let you guys know that I have brand new and limited edition merchandise that is only available for the month of October. Designs that were made in collaboration with a great friend of the channel, Phobicon. Now, I'll be in Scotland filming from October the 10th until the 25th, so all orders that come through, because I process all of them myself, will essentially be pre-orders and will be shipped out after the 25th. With that being said, it's available on my official channel Shopify store linked below and tagged here. You can also save money by bundling a merch item with a copy of my book. And if you're a channel member or patron, I will be giving out an additional 10% discount to you to thank you for supporting me. These will only be available this month, and once they're gone for good. So grab them while you can to support the channel, get some awesome merch, and rep yours truly today. Thank you. Today, we will be deciphering the strange and complex entity known as Zozo. In our first episode, Zozo is allegedly a fallen angel, one of the original angels who sided with Lucifer and who were banished from the heavens eons ago by God during the Great Fall. Zozo, or at least under this current name, is a relatively recent phenomena, only mostly emerging in the mid to late 20th and now 21st centuries. The name Zozo is attributed to the name Pazuzu, which is a Mesopotamian demon, which, in ancient Mesopotamian religion, Pazuzu is a personification of the southwestern wind and held kingship over the Lilu wind demons. Depending on who you ask or what sources you cite, Pazuzu is either considered a good or white magic entity, or an evil or black magic entity, considered as both a destructive and dangerous wind, but also as a repellent to other demons, one who safeguards the home from their influence. In particular, he protects pregnant women and mothers, whom he could defend from the machinations of the demoness Lamashtu, his rival. He is invoked in ritual, and representations of him are used as defense charms. It is known as firstly a demon of the home, a domestic spirit, then secondly as the wandering wind demon, traversing the mountains, seeking to destroy the innocent. The main representation of the white magic belief is the well-documented use of Pazuzu in Mesopotamia. His inhuman and grotesque form was used to frighten away unwanted guests, as well as prevent his wind demon subjects from entering the home and wreaking havoc, as well as warding off rivals and disease. His role in ritual and magic is documented on inscriptions on the backs of his statues, or in ritual texts, spells, incantations, and special artifacts which were used to gain the favor and protection of the demon. Such artifacts were often placed in and around the home, or worn on the person to achieve the desired effect. When favor was gained with the demon, amulets were typically given and worn by pregnant women to protect their unborn from other evil forces or demonic spirits. Large numbers of Pazuzu heads have been discovered, made from a variety of materials, chiefly terracotta, but also bronze, iron, gold, glass, and bone. These heads often featured holes or loops at the top, allowing them to be worn on necklaces. Occasionally, the heads would be attached to cylinder seals or worn as brooches as well. Some of these heads have been found in various graves. The current name of Zozo is often attributed to the Romanized naming of the ancient Mesopotamian demon Pazuzu. Zozo was named and believed to have been the main demon that possessed Roland Doe, or later revealed to be a boy at that time, named Ronald Edwin Hunkler, who was born June the 1st of 1935 and passed away May 10th of 2020. Ronald had accessed or opened a door to the other side using a Ouija board, the most common tool associated with conjuring this demon and many others, which we'll explore later on. The name Zozo was changed to Pazuzu, and along with the possession were written about in a book called The Exorcist, which was inspired by the Ronald Hunkler case by now famous author William Peter Blatty. The book was later adapted to the infamous and also arguably cursed film of The Exorcist, which was released in 1973. The name Zozo was also mentioned in the French demonic encyclopedia as one of the demons who was responsible for diabolical possession and corruption. Within the book, it tells of a case dating back to 1816 where a girl was possessed, and Zozo, as well as several other demons, are mentioned to have been present. Although with loose associations with older deities, Zozo's notoriety, as previously mentioned, is relatively recent. The first widely publicized mention of Zozo, or the one that most people are aware of, appeared in a 2009 online forum post by a man named Darren Evans, who detailed him and his family's terrifying encounters with the entity following Ouija board sessions, and that these encounters persisted for years. Since then, numerous individuals have reported similar experiences, claiming that Zozo communicates through the board, often spelling out its name in a repetitive and ominous manner. The etymology of the name Zozo is unclear, with some suggesting that it might be a corrupted or disguised form of other demonic names. However, its consistent appearance in spirit board sessions have cemented its identity as a distinct and malevolent entity. Besides the name Zozo, it also has appeared under other names, such as Zozo, Zaza, Zuzu, Mama, and Abacus. Some calling cards of the demon, so to speak, are: when using the board, the planchette is known to move on its own, sometimes in a rainbow pattern, moving from side to side, spelling Zozo over and over again. This is also known as the rainbow effect. It has also been known to make a figure 8, creating an infinity symbol. With the more modern emergence of Zozo, some believe that its power could be being strengthened through what's known as an egregore, or a collective group of thought form created by occultists for certain purposes. Although this seems unlikely because the entity does not appear to serve any human desires other than to destroy the person or people it comes into contact with, if it's able to. Egregores are typically formed to bring control over a deity for the person or group's intentions. Perhaps instead of an egregore, there is a cult worshipping Zozo, strengthening its reach and power through thought form, and with wider exposure, the more powerful the entity becomes. This is also known as forming a tulpa. A tulpa is a being or thought form that is created through intense concentration and spiritual practice. typically emerging in the form of a human. Though the term is borrowed from Tibetan Buddhism, the idea of a tulpa in modern paranormal lore is slightly different from what is found in Tibetan traditions, being added to modern lore after journalist John Keel mentioned them in his 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies. Reports often describe Zozo as malevolent and deceptive, using the Ouija board to frighten, confuse, and manipulate those attempting to communicate with spirits. Those who have encountered the entity have been asked by it to chant out or spell phrases or various words in Hebrew or Latin, which has convinced many of the intelligence of the being that they were speaking with. When encountering the demon, one may find shadows appearing on the walls around you or the surrounding environment, if not indoors, almost as if you're seeing past the veil to a dark world that exists just beyond your normal frame of vision. Many users report that their sessions take a dark turn when Zozo becomes involved, often leading to feelings of dread, anxiety, and even physical harm. This connection has made Zozo a symbol of the potential dangers of spirit communication and the unknown entities that might be encountered through such practices. The Ouija board, however, is not the only way that Zozo makes itself known. It also shows itself through other means, such as sudden hypnosis, automatic writing sessions, and electronic voice phenomena, otherwise known as an EVP. When it comes through as an EVP, it may do so masquerading as something positive, like a deceased family member, loved one, or friend. Typically mimicking the voices of the dead is one of its specialities. The entity seems to love watching his victims squirm with confusion, and oftentimes seeming to take pleasure when the gullible human believes its lies. The entity also appears to be sadistic in nature and loves watching friends fall out over the lies, typically revealing half-truths or secrets to sow discord. It, or he, is a master deceiver, which is not surprising considering that the devil, or Lucifer, is claimed to be the father of all lies, and Zozo allegedly being one of the original demons who fell alongside him. If you have truly made contact with Zozo, do your best not to panic. It feeds off of fear. If the contact is made during a Ouija board session, close out the session by saying goodbye. Do not use the same board again, and buddy the old board with holy water. Post-session, do not speak his name. Then sage the area or have it blessed, especially if it is your home, and use sage to cleanse yourself. To avoid Zozo, set boundaries for the ghosts or any spirits before you start a Ouija board session. Also, don't taunt him or try to summon him. Zozo can possess you or make you go crazy, causing a potential mental breakdown. He can also make your nose bleed, and he can cause bruises and cuts. A more recent story I found online was of a young lady named April. She had decided to play with a Ouija board with some friends one night after moving in with her sister. She had dealt with Ouija boards before, but had no negative impact previously. When the group sat down and put their fingers on the planchette, they didn't open the session by saying that they mean no disrespect and letting them know that they had non-believers in the group. They asked if anyone was there, and the planchette moved to yes. Then, when they asked who it was, the planchette spelled out Zozo. They should have ended the session there, but instead they asked what the spirit wanted, and it replied, her. The group asked, "What do you mean? Who is her?" Zozo then said, "I want her," and then spelled the name, April. The spirit then kept spelling out Zozo and I want her. April, who out of fear lashed out at the board. The board then quickly began to spell out death. After being told not to provoke the spirit further by the rest of the group, who were visibly freaked out, they would continue to ask questions until the planchette started to feel hot underneath their fingers. The planchette then started to spell out, Mama. One of the friends who was too scared refused to play anymore. Then the mood changed. April no longer felt like herself. She began to laugh and cry uncontrollably, and she then began to lash out at everyone present as the board continued to spell out the name of the demon, with those who were more experienced rushing to say goodbye. After doing so, April somehow would return back to her old self, but had no memory of what had transpired while she was allegedly under the entity's control. Other than Darren Evans and Roland Doe's stories, other possible encounters, other than those self-reported on the internet, have been the Doris Bither case in Los Angeles in 1972, when after using a Ouija board, she encountered a dark entity that then plagued her and her family. Another case I have covered, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. The infamous Enfield poltergeist case, which took place in Enfield, England, where a family was plagued by a sinister and malevolent force, which occurred during the years of 1977 to 1979. In 2012, in Tombstone, Nevada, a small group of soldiers were off duty and decided to mess around with a Ouija board just for fun. They allegedly made contact with a spirit who told them that he had died in Tombstone. And on the way back, the man who was driving the vehicle allegedly got possessed and almost killed the others in a deliberate car crash before the demon left him. Following regaining consciousness, the man had no memory of what he had done. I tell Darren Evans' story along with some additional information diving into Zozo on the untold story of the demonic Zozo house of Oklahoma, linked here on screen, if you would like to hear the terrifying and harrowing story of Darren and his family dealing with this entity. Something that I haven't said publicly until now is that I didn't speak with Darren directly, but rather with a verified close friend of his who went by the name of Butch. He told me that Darren won't even speak the demon's name for fear of its return, that the experiences were very real, and that he had dealt with them for years, and that they nearly destroyed him. For whatever reason, whether it's the result of an egregore, making tulpas, collective strengthening through a cult, or just raised public consciousness, the demon known as Zozo has become a popular part of modern paranormal culture, appearing in numerous books, movies, videos, and stories via internet forums, and some by yours truly. It certainly shows no signs of slowing down in popularity anytime soon. But make no mistake, Zozo is known for being dangerous and should not be sought out or summoned. The occult is not a joke and should not be practiced by the majority of people, in my opinion. So please be safe and be smart when dealing with the paranormal, especially the darker side of things, or you may just encounter Zozo or another entity from the darkest of realms, those of which we will continue to uncover here on the Demonology Archives. I hope you learned something new, and if you enjoyed me trying out this new mini-series and or the video in general, give it a like, share it around, and subscribe with notifications on, and leave a comment letting me know your thoughts down below. I did also want to remind you guys that I have 2 limited edition merch designs up on various products through my official Shopify store, which is linked below in the description, the comments, and is tagged on screen now. These products won't be available ever again, and you can even save money by bundling a copy of my book and one of the limited pieces of merchandise. And if you're a channel member or Patreon member, you'll save an additional 10% with an exclusive promo code that I'll provide via the community tab on both sites. These are only available this once and for this month only, and once they're gone, they're gone. So order them while supplies last. Other than that, guys, thank you for continuing to support me. I truly appreciate all of you, and I'll see you next time here on Mystery Archives. Remember to stay safe and take care.